Generic greetings and welcome to Battlestar Galactica Scattered Hopes. Today's beverage is a nicely chilled and not overly carbonated tangy apple soda. So welcome to Battlestar Galactica Scattered Hopes, or Shattered Hopes, if I get it wrong throughout this video, which I almost certainly will. This is a space-based roguelike where you have a ship and a crew, you have to manage resources, deal with the fleet, any crises, points of interest, and also do some space pew-pew combat. Set in the Battlestar Galactica universe world story, whichever term you prefer, and I'm not going to get into the minutiae of that because I'm not overly qualified, not having seen the original show from, is it the 70s or 80s? I mean, surely it's well-trodden ground by now. I mean, it's, like, say, over half a century old, but I'm a massive fan of the reimagining from 2004, I think. It's genuine masterpiece, I think. But yeah, essentially for this intended purpose is to bring people up to speed. You are humans, you're on your colony, everything is working fine, and then said colonies get attacked by the evil robot sort of Cylons. It works for this intended purpose. There's more subtleties than that, and basically everything is utterly destroyed. You are a fringe small sect of humanity, all scattered. I guess that's where the name comes from, Scattered Hopes, where you have a mix of military and civilian fleets, and we're basically on the run. We're in survival mode, and that's what we have to do. We have to survive. So that means sort of meeting different factions and characters and going through their stories, points of interest, and you're constantly on the run from the Cylons, which, as I said, are the bad guy robots, sort of. And yeah, that's where we basically are. So I'm going to go through and play a bit of the game. I've certainly put a couple of hours into this as well as previous builds, and well, hopefully it is something for you. Stick around and we'll see how we get on. So this is our fleet. This is what I've just started with. You can pick, I think, between one of 4 fleets when you first start the game. I think you can also put yours together, and it's a mix of military and civilian ships. So we have the Shamshire, the Castillo class Gunstar, and we also have a couple of civilian ships, so the Stargazer and the Hyperion. And again, each of these will do certain things. So it could be generate resources, or give you experience, or whatever. How do you win and how do you lose? Well, you win by not dying and getting, I believe, to the titular character ship of the Battlestar Galactica. I think that's what you're trying to meet up with. After that, I don't know, because I haven't got that far. I've exploded long before that. And as I said, you'll do combat throughout the game. And you will lose by running out of certain resources, mainly the hull on your main ship. If that goes to 0, you die. If your fleet health gauge goes to 0, you are dead, because that represents your humanity and population and, like I say, general overall... it's a general overall representative of the fleet. You also have... well, you've got crew to manage as well, and they come with their own series of problems and can fling a spanner into work. So yeah, there's all manner of things. Oh, we've also got this panel on the bottom right, which is fairly important. This shows us the amount of time until we are basically caught by the Cylons and we have to do a bit of combat, and this is between our jumps. So we'll go through, we'll do certain things, certain actions, so points of interest, we'll maybe do some resource gathering, we'll speak to some crew and things like that, and then eventually we'll get a crisis, which is at some point during this tracker. We'll have to manage that as best we can, and often there's not even a good choice, it's just the best choice for you at that particular time. So yeah, we'll see. So there's a lot to cover, so we'll just go through it as best we can sequentially. So what do I want to do? Well, for a start, there are a couple of problems on the Hyperion, represented by these, I look at them and think, D4, 4-sided dice. We have a panicked passengers negative situation. So if we don't fix it, basically we will lose some health, 40 overall fleet health. Similar thing for some distribute supplies, so we need to fix that before end of turn 8. So I always find that doing it early on is probably the way to go. So we have a couple of options for the panicked passengers. We can either spend an action point or an energy with one of our hero characters, one of our crew members here. So we've got F Flaurbert, I think that is. We've got V Mills and C Lau. So I could do that, or I could say just give them 4 of our supplies. So you've got fuel, which is Tillium, you've got supplies, which represents ammunition, medicine, food, water, etc. You've got scrap, which is your generic units of currency, made trade resource. I don't actually like that. For some reason, the idea of having scrap I don't know, it just doesn't seem to fit too well, but it's a very minor thing. And then nukes, because nukes is a countable resource in this in this universe. If you've seen the show, you probably know why. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to, in this particular instance, I'm just going to spend some resources and soothe the panic passengers. So that's going to get rid of that problem. And then, time advances, and Alexandra Arnez, our communications officer, is contacting us. So, our XO, which is Florbert, sir, I have a report that the Underworld, that's one of the factions, plans to redistribute belongings of those who couldn't join the fleet before our escape. Workers find the idea appalling and prefer the items passed to relatives or friends. What should we do with the belongings? So we have 3 options here. We can agree with the workers, and that means that the workers' overall influence goes up, the Underworld will decrease. However, you can agree with the Underworld, and that means that the Underworld influence will decrease and workers will decrease. Or we can go seize both people will be annoyed. Probably not a good idea to anger all factions in the game. And as I said, there's often not a good choice. It's what you think is the best choice. There's a lot of compromise in the game, and obviously this is by design. I'm going to say distribute to the workers' families and relatives. So there we go. So now we can see that the workers' influence is fair, military is fair, but the Underworld is tense. So based on the overall relations, it can go really good or really bad. So it goes from fair to tense to hostile to catastrophic. I think it can go the other way as well and have you good relations. Average healthcare and maintenance is average as well. So these are all going to affect like the story beats that come up. So for example, you might have a big uprising of the Underworld because you're constantly punishing them, but then you've got moral choices to make. It's like, well, actually, who's in the right here? And you get the idea, hopefully. Anyway, let's go to the bar. And one of the locations you can go to is the bar. You've got a hangar, R&D lab, bar, etc. I'm just going to deal with this here. So distribute the supplies. I'm going to distribute the supplies with the supplies, so we're going to send those, and there you go. So that's another negative situation gone. So the situations are like not necessarily minor, but they're not like catastrophic. They're not crises, which is coming up, and we will get that in the next 5 turns. So 7 turns until the Cylons appear. What can we do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign some of our crew members. So I'm going to go over to our hangar, and this is where we've got all of our ships. So we have a Viper. That is a Mark II, is it? 2 or 3? Will it tell us? Not sure. It's a Viper. And you can see they have health and damage and range speed. All of this is for when we're actually doing the space combat. We have a Raptor, which has got a massive railgun on it, artillery aim. Yes, so it is our sniper essentially. And then you have Wolf, which is, yeah, I'm not overly familiar with that. In the show, you've basically got 2 ships. You've got Vipers and you've got Raptors. I would have thought the Raptor would have give us would be the combat Raptor with missile pods on the side rather than this weird railgunny type of thing. But, you know, it's doing its own thing. So you can assign heroes to it. So we can assign our hero here, and we will. That is... I wish I would tell you the name. They've got traits of CAG. So CAG is the combat air group. The colonial officer, assignable to squadrons. As long as the hero is in a deployed squadron, all allied squadrons gain 3% damage per hero's level. So we'll assign them, because why would we not? And that is Mills. Yes. So there you go. Vihan Mills. Yep. From Caprica, apparently. Okay. You can see they have health and experience and all of that. That'll come into play later on. Let's go back over to the hangar, and... you can put them in. You can put heroes in like different ships. I'm not going to put them in this other one. That should be fine. I'm however going to go over to the weapons bay, which shows us all of our supplies. And well, I'm going to assign our XO, defensive strategy, another ability, assignable to weapons. As long as the hero is assigned to a Gunstar, the Gunstar gains 4% damage resistance. Damage resistance, is that just reduction in damage? Probably. Let me just assign them. Again, this is like the first sort of turn here, setting things up. It's standard procedure, really. And then, who's this? This is Camilla Lou, or Law. I'm going to say Lou? Low? Nah. Terrible with names and words. Let's go to the bar, as I said. And this is like a... Well, you get choices for gambling and playing games and stuff, but we're going to go and discuss a special perk with our XO. So we're sort of downtime, really. So, Frenesia Flaurbert. Commander, I've met an interesting fellow here, a scientist expert in an armament system. Okay, she said she could help us with upgrades, even new systems for the Gunstar. What do you say? Let her improve our weapons and squadrons. 20% to all damage dealt by allied units, weapons and effects, and 20% speed to all squadrons for 2 sectors. Very powerful. However, a new system wouldn't hurt. Obtained auxiliary systems can only be common. So that is a permanent boost to us for the long term. Okay. Both are good. I'm going to give ourselves a bit of breathing room by going for this extra damage and speed for 2 sectors. So, there we go. So that's give us a little bit of a bonus, and then this opens up. So that's Survivor's Euphoria. 20% to all damage and speed, essentially. And you can press this ominous red information button to give us a readout of everything that you need. So overall hull of the Gunstar, fleet health, resources, shows us our civilian ships and all of our fighters and heroes and things like that. So all good. Where do you want to go from here? You've also got R&D lab as well, so you can get different upgrades. So, for example, get evasion. You can get medbay unlocks. I often find medbay is a good one to go for early on, but we've also got points of interest. So we've got, what have we? We've got a metal-rich asteroid, a mining pod emergency beacon, or fuel hauler emergency beacon. Now, in my experience, you really want to keep hold of your fuel, and I'm going to go for that first. So, fuel hauler emergency beacon. A distress signal is coming from this Tilium hauler. The crew's dead, but the Tilium is still valuable. We should take it. We can spend 1 fuel to gain 2 fuel. So you get 2 fuel, but it costs you 1 fuel to do it, because naturally you're having to send people to go and grab it. However, you can also send one of your crew. I don't know if you would call them heroes or whatever, but yeah, we're sending these guys. So you can select one of them. So it costs 1 action point for them, or energy, and we're going to just send our chief tech to get me some fuel, and that gives us 5 fuel. It does cost 1, so you get a better bonus for it, but it does cost them their action point. So they're now done, and we now have another communique. So an issue requires your attention. All right. Sir, this is from Vahan Mills, our CAG. Sir, a word. There's some tension aboard the Hyperion. Dockers are using an empty deck, but the Navy personnel warns it's off limits. You need to make a choice. So the dockers can have it. Workers will increase and military will deteriorate. However, the deck belongs to the military. Military increases, workers deteriorate. We are on fair for both. I'm going to say the dockers can have it, because it is aboard a civilian ship, and I don't think we necessarily need it. We're still fair with the military, so we'll have to see. Yeah. You can see there, while you maintain a fair relation with the faction, opportunities will arise as it gains influence. Okay, but the underworld is tense. What else? Well, I think I'm going to go for metal-rich asteroid. So I'm needing to spend a fuel to do it, so the cost is 1 fuel, but I am able to send some of our crew, which I will do to do that, because there's only certain things you can do with them, and, well, I might as well just do the full lot. There's all our sort of characters used up in terms of their actions this term. You can see they've gained experience as well. So, no situations or points of interest left to resolve. So, we can invest turns in other ways. So, I've got 1 more investment, and then we'll go to the crises. However, we've got things we can do. So, we can just go for scrap recycling. So it takes you, you can invest half or 1 of these pips to get some amount of scrap once it's done, 20. Same thing for crop emergency harvest or Tilium. So basically scrap, supplies, or Tilium. We can also go to the other ships, and you can train the crew. So the effect of this Stargazer mining ship, it's a common ship because they all have rarities, is we gain 30 scrap per jump. However, level 2, we get 50 scrap per jump and increases the hull points. And you can get multiple civilian ships as you progress on and build the fleet up. The Hyperion, which is a botanical cruiser, you gain 3 supplies per jump. I'm going to train them in that because we are actually low on supplies. However, because that takes time, we've now got another communique. The CIC, Command and Control, needs the commander. So, a nuke meltdown, new crisis. That's not one. That's not a thing you want to read. Okay. So, terrible news, Commander. We just did a survey of our nukes, and a few are unstable. We believe they will go off after our next FDL jump. Frack. Can't we fix them? Afraid not. We don't have the time or the equipment to reset their internal mechanisms. Our best idea is to use them in our next fight against the Cylons. I have an idea. Why don't we put them around the fleet? Create a minefield. I mean, I see the tactical advantage, but it is risky. Riskier than using a faulty nuke. Commander, what do you think? Use them as weapons or as mines. So this is our crew giving us choices. And again, there's often not a right choice. So, Mills. Follow Mills's advice. Use them during the next fight. If we don't, if it's a failure of the crises, 1,000 damage to our Gunstar. It's going to over half the health because it's going to blow the side off if we're lucky. However, that's so far on crisis failure. So we need to use both nukes. We've only got 2. I think that's how it works. However, bypass crisis for now. However, -2 nukes now. They will appear in the next battlefield as unstable nuke, a minefield. I'm going to say use them. So, on it, Commander. There we go. So we need to see launch 2 nukes in battle. If we don't do that, we're going to suffer damage. So I'm going to use up all my nukes. That's not ideal. It's far from it. However, it's what we've chosen. Let's keep going. Let's train the crew. Train the crew again. I could repair the ship to get it leveled up a bit. There's certain points here, which is negative. Basically, these are the damage levels. If you go past these thresholds, you will receive situations that you'll have to deal with. Everything is fairly okay. Plus 300 health for 33 generic units of currency for scrap. But that would actually cap us out on 200 anyway, so I'm not going to do that. That's a bit of a waste. Same as on this as well. It's a bit of a waste to spend that. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to train the crew to level 2. And now we've got a Drader's contact, otherwise known as Space Radar. So, the game is going to shout at us, which is good actually. Staff battle. Wait. Have you repaired your ships and squadrons? Yes, we have. Have we assigned heroes and 2 squadrons and the hangar for weapons? Yes, we have. Level up squadrons? We don't have to. And heroes? We don't have to. Upgrade the fleet in the R&D lab? Haven't done that yet. Select civilian defense? We haven't done it, but it doesn't matter because basically you have to take 2 civilians with you when you're fighting. It represents the fleets jumping out and they're the last few remaining and such. However, we've only got 2 ships, even though there's some random ones in the background. Okay, R&D lab. Let's go for extra evasion twice and medbay. So evasion, yeah, squadrons gain evasion. I think that's just chance of. It doesn't actually tell me what it is, but I'm guessing it's just that percentage chance to not suffer that damage, or is that just damage reduction? I'm not sure. I would have thought resistance would have been damage reduction. But, start the battle, yes. And this is where we get a bit of combat. Firstly, we have to pick where we're going to jump to. So, 2 systems. One system is the Al-Genobi system. I think that was right. I had a punt at it anyway. There's a planet there, which is a gas giant, which will give us fuel as a crash site as well. And a structure, which is a smuggler's cache. And that is 3 points of interest. Or there's Shimmer, which is a wreckage with civilian cargo wreck and a refinery and a grounded civilian ship. Okay. let's go with... Anything that gives us fuel is also good, but I'm leaning towards Shimmer because it has a civilian cargo wreck, which is going to be for supplies, and I've spent a bit of them. So we'll compute the FTL. So it takes a while for the computers to spool up, and oh, that is a Typhoon-class frigate, Type D Mauler. So, tactical pause. What do we have to do? Well, not die. 2 minutes on the countdown timer until we can jump away. We have to defend ourselves. So, I'm going to select 2 ships. I'm going to select the Viper. I'm going to say go there. I'm going to say our Raptor. I'm going to say go there. So we're launching them from our ship here. Strangely, the civilian ships are always in front of the Gunstar. I would have put them the other way around if I was in charge. Surely we would protect them, but gameplay purposes, etc. Yeah, you got your hull points up here, the criticals you've suffered based on the damage that these guys will receive. What do we need to know? Weapons-wise, we do have our nukes, which are loaded, and it's going to take 15 seconds in order to get the flak batteries up and running. Typhoon-class frigate. So, they have the... Well, for a start, they've got something called Berserker. Every 10 seconds upon battlefield arrival, 1 unit will gain the Cylon Overload Berserker. So every 10 seconds, which is extra damage plus 50%, but damage taken plus 30%. So that's like a little modifier to them, a mutator. However, they also have a core ability of all units deployed gain the silent mutation Blood Frenzy. Unit gains 10% damage for every time it deals damage for the remainder of the battle. So you want to kill things quickly, because every time it kills something, they gain 10% damage. That could be bad. Okay, well... We will continue on. The Typhoon-class frigate has 6,000 health, so there is no chance of us defeating that. Although we do have to launch 2 nukes, which causes 1,200 damage. But I'm not going to really go for that. So these are the guys coming out here. So first things first, I'm going to get our guys in the fight. So these are the raiders who are coming towards us. And I mean, I could just launch a nuke at them, but let's. And I do need to launch 2 nukes, don't I? I'll wait for that later on. So I'm putting our sniper in position because basically they can't move and fire. Then the other guy I'm going to bring in as well. So there we go. So one of them's going to be dealt with straight away. One of them's taken out, another one's taken out, and then the third one, fourth one's gone. Oh, there we go. That's actually all done. So you might be noticing it's sort of real-time pausable. You will be pausing it very, very often. I think that's just the nature of it. We now have 2 strikers coming in. These are the greatest contacts. It shows you like how long you're going to take to come in. So I'm going to move this guy a little bit forward, and then this guy I'm going to say engage. These are strikers. Everything has certain, obviously, amount of stats and abilities and things like that. We don't really need to worry too much about for now. All we need to do is, well, we need to take it out. So actually, this striker here, we definitely needed to take out because it was the one with that mutator. Now, however, we've got a bit more to think about because there's raiders up here and raiders over here. Well, what I'm going to do is get our fleet repositioned a little bit over this side because I'm going to use the weapons on our Gunstar. So these have spawned in, and I'm going to say fire the guns there. So they are on a constant vector. Oh, there's a heavy raider coming in. I'm just going to position this so it's in range like that. It's on a constant vector, so we know they're coming this way. There's our flak coming out, and these are going to head into the flak field. So I'm not concerned about that at all. And the raiders, however, are coming in, and they're coming in pretty hot. Let me go ahead and see. Can I launch a nuke there? If I launch a nuke, I'll get 4 ships. So I'm going to do that. Nuke-friendly confirmation fire, yes, because I'm heading outside of the blast radius, like so. And there's the nuke. So the nuke's gone off, and we've dealt with them. Now, normally, I would not have done that. That is a waste of a nuke. But if we don't use it, it's going to blow the arse end of our ship off. So we should probably deal with that before that happens. So we're going to launch them at the enemy rather than at ourselves. So let's keep on dealing with the enemy here as best we can. We are in decent position. I'm just going to reposition this one. Obviously, a lot of it is thinking about where you're going to go next. Not that we know necessarily exactly what's going to spawn, but we need to keep close to our fleet. And I think what's going to happen now is we will I can't catch up with this guy for some reason. When we do damage, by the way, we actually have Hunter Instinct, which is Hunter Instinct is if we toggle that on, it'll go anywhere within this area, and then we've also got Hunter's Dash, extra speed when we kill something. I'm going to again reposition the sniper a little bit, and I'm also going to use the cannons there, and then there we go. So, firing out, they're going to be dealt with. Yeah. I mean, if you've seen Battlestar Galactica, you know that the flak field is one of the most impressive space-based things you've probably seen. It looks so good. I also wouldn't stray into that flak field as well because, well, in this game, it does do damage to your own ships. I could just go and attack the ship back here. Although that's a bit of a mistake. Let me go ahead and I'm going to fire a nuke, and here it goes, because this is the last one we need. There we go. So we're not going to suffer the negative effects of having unstable nukes. However, it's paused. Why is it paused? Well, for a start, beverage break. However, the reason for it is because the countdown timer is in the last 10 seconds. We need to get these guys back on board. So we're going to tell them to dock because the game's just going to get harder. You can do an emergency jump, which just burns loads of fuel. However, everyone back on board, we jump. So, none of our ships were hit, I don't think. And that was actually a fairly flawless fight. And I would imagine that is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's the first fight of this run, which means it's going to be easier naturally. And secondly, I fired our 2 nukes that we had. So further fights are going to be more difficult. We have options for blessings. Plus 50 Fate. Fate is your global non-run currency. So you'll basically... It's the roguelike currency. When you fail, you might win, or inevitably when you fail, you can enable certain modifiers and bonuses, etc. With this fate. So we need to select Forged in Battle, Squadron gains 30 experience. That's on the Raptor. And if we do that, we'd be on 1 experience to level up. No, sorry, we wouldn't. Would we? It says 29 of 50, but I think that might be the hero. Okay. However, we can get 4 supplies, or we can gain more experience. I'm going to say yes. Because they fired loads of nukes, so of course they're going to get experience in firing nukes. Nuke meltdown, crisis solved. Damaged nukes was successfully employed during our last combat, sir. Avoided damage to the Gunstar. Good to hear. Let's call that a victory. However, I've got no nukes. So, their morale has gone up. So when you click on them, they do have morale there. Morale is okay. Morale is okay. Morale is okay. Here with excellent morale can go through a personal arc. However, with a miserable morale, we'll go through it and trigger a crisis. So we don't want to do that. Speak of crises, that's where we're going to get one there. However, Flaurbert has leveled up. So, we will level them up. We've got Test Pilot, Carry On, or Empathic. Test Pilot, assignable to all squadrons. This hero never loses health when their assigned squadron is wrecked. Each time assigned squadron is wrecked, both the hero and the squadron gain 10 HP. Oh! Right. So what you want to do is put them on a on a squadron and then get it destroyed. Or not necessarily get it destroyed, but yeah. Now that's really, really good and it's rare. Another one is Carry On. Every time an allied unit is destroyed during battle, the assigned unit gains 30 max hit hull for the remainder of the battle and fully repaired. That's good. Or 10% extra fleet health every time a hero resolves a point of interest with a fleet health reward. That's really good. The Test Pilot thing is excellent and it is assignable to squadrons. I could re-roll it. The only reason I'm thinking this is because this is our XO, and they're not on the table when we're fighting. They're actually on the Gunstar. I'm going to pick up the Test Pilot, we might use them. I mean, we can do that. We can just go to the hangar, for example, and we can assign them to say that. Test pilot. There you go. Hero never loses HP when it's wrecked. Each time the assigned hero is wrecked, we gain 10 HP. What's it? So I know the Viper, quick intercept and things like that. The Raptor, long range firepower, got you. What's the Wolf all about? What do you do? Passive, 10% damage resistance for each enemy within radius, and also taunt. Taunts units of hostile target the unit. Oh, right, okay. So it is the tank sort of vehicle. And it's also got... Yeah, it's got the most health of everything, and also damage is pretty good. It's also really slow. Actually, it's not the slowest. Evasion is 36%. Evasion percentage chance represents probability of avoid damage or effects from single targets. Ah, there you go. Right. So that's what evasion is. Like it doesn't say, most of the time you can just mouse over and it tells you. So actually then, if we want taunt, surely we want to put it on this ship, and then if it does blow up, then what a shame, never mind. I'm going to go with that. We might bring the Wolf out next time, although I find that the Raptor is far too useful not to field. Yeah. Right, okay. The thing is, the defensive strategy, it's 4% damage resistance. It's a very minor boost as opposed to the, oh, actually, you don't lose health when you get destroyed. Pretty good. Right, what do we want to do now? Well, there's no things of note on the ships, so we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to heal up. And, well, I think we'll have a look at our points of interest then. So, we have a civilian cargo wreck, a refinery wreck, and a grounded civilian ship. If it's resolved by a hero, it's a uncommon ship. You gain a ship. For reasons unknown, a civilian ship is stranded off this planet. They could take off. Might have a new addition to the fleet. We've got a 5 fuel. I'm going to do that, and we will send our engineer to do that. And we have gained the Marsh Argus. There they are. Also, another thing that requires our attention. This is very unusual, but I promise I'd ask, sir. Some of the officers are requesting compensation for having worked overtime. They'd like additional food stamps. So, agree. The officers could deserve compensation, which is military goes down. Military increases, should I say. Or, no. Everyone's working overtime, not just them. Well, I do at this stage sort of agree with the latter one. Everyone is working overtime. We've literally just escaped the colony. Everybody is, in the same boat on this. But I also have okay supplies, and I'd like the military to at least, be on our good side. I think can you get it beyond fair? It just says fair. Yeah. Okay, we probably could have lost that a little bit then. But anyway, that's the choice we've made. We will level up our chief tech. So, Camilla. Controlled power surge is an assignable to squadrons. Every time an assigned squadron activates an ability, it restores 20 hull points. Oh, there you go. Does not trigger with toggleable abilities like Hunter Instincts or Offensive Coordination. So you can't just spam the button. Right. I can guarantee that's probably come across in a playtest, someone abusing it. Okay. We also have +5 fleet health for every time we resolve a point of interest, or Nuke Salvager. Obtain an extra nuke every time the hero resolves a point of interest with a nuke reward. We're going to pick up that because we know we are low on nukes. When I say low on nukes, the cupboard is bare. We have nothing. Let's continue on. Let's go with... I'm going to finish these first. We're going to send one of our heroes to get some Tilium, siphon a fuel tank, and that will get our hero leveled up. And we'll go for Mills, our CAG. 10% scrap from all items sold in shops. Combat training. Hero gains 2 experience every time their assigned squadron destroys a unit. Excellent. Excellent. Or exotic gifts. Every time a hero has resolved a point of interest, blah, 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 something to do with shops, doesn't matter. They're assigned, they're OCAG, they're assigned to the Vipers, they want the original one. And then we're going to send our last hero off to... hero. I keep calling them heroes. There might be heroes, there might also be villains. However, we now have another thing of note. I have an unusual request from the workers, sir. They can't wash after a long day's work because they don't have enough supplies. Give them the supplies, or no. We do have supplies. What are the workers? Workers are actually fair at the moment. I'm going to say... Oh, okay, sorry. I was going to say no, but clicking on there to close that has actually done that. However, now we're on workers a little bit of influence. So it might work out. Let me go to the bar. And we can either join Florbit in a game of Pyramid. We can play a triad with the Underworld. These are all little mini games and stuff. Or we can hear the workers offer a trade, which is they're offering trade for supplies to fuel. Well, I'm gonna have a game of Pyramid. I just want to see something different. We've at the bar first. Would you like to play Commander? Yes. Sweaty and exhausted, you step away from the cart feeling better than ever. So we played a game. Thank from the game. Their morale will improve, or pay for one last drink. Their morale will drastically improve. Yeah, I'm going to say drastically improved, and their morale is now good. Okay. So we can see that, yes, they're very happy. A hero with excellent morale can go through a personal arc. However, a hero with miserable will trigger a crises. So, for a start, I want to spend some scrap in repairing this ship because it's knacked. There we go. Sorted. That is the Marsh Argus. And I just don't want it on, a really bad situation. Speaking of situations, we need to get some scrap, and I'm going to do that by leveling up the Stargazer. So I'll train the crew, however... an opportunity has arisen. A new opportunity. Happiness happens because workers' influence is good. Commander, I may have struck a deal with the workers. Francesca smiles. Looks like she was hoping to surprise you. And it worked. I was having a drink recently when a guild leader told me they were quite eager to test a new salvage technology. Your turn to smile. Evidence the workers favour your command. The deal is I take down a few Cylons and they'll show us how to gain additional scrap with their new tech. Great opportunity. As long as you survive. Okay, let's try this then. Don't worry, no toaster is going to bring me down. So there's the there they go. With them assigned to a squadron, we need to destroy 15 Cylon units. And they're our test pilot, who I believe is currently assigned to our sniper ship. Yes, they are. Again, a very minor thing. It would be nice to be able to see their name, from this view. It'd be nice to see their traits in any. Well, you can see their traits, sorry, but you'd like to see their the name and stuff like that when you're assigning them. Just might help out for these certain crises and opportunities. Where do we need to go from here? Let's go for level up, and then one more will trigger the crises. There we go. Urgent tension. Tilium theft. Ooh, because Underworld is tense. Chief Tech enters the CIC with a somber look on their face. Trustworthy source says an ongoing plan to steal fuel from the Gunstar. We can't let this happen. Of course, but we should look into it and try and solve it as quickly on. Yeah, I know people. Why quietly? Afraid people start disliking you? I say we increase control for a while. Apply pressure, it'll send a message. One message will send that we're brutal and the people wouldn't feel safe in the fleet. So, -1 fuel every 3 turns. That's bad. until we resolve it, or bypass the crisis for now but suffer plus 20% to all fleet health losses for 2 sectors. So, we can do Tilium theft and then look into it, which is an unknown amount of time. I don't know how long it's going to take or what it's going to take. Or we can just say, don't care. You know, bypass it for now. 20% to health losses for 2 sectors. Sectors, I mean, we're already close to going to the next sector. I'm going to do that. Increase controls. I don't like being pushed around by the underworld. So there you go. This will create problems, organization issues, trust issues, safety issues. Need to remind you we're at war. No, we're seeking cope. That's different altogether. Yeah. You can never win. It's no. Well, hope not realised can be just as dangerous. If you need me, I'll be down with the security officers. Again, we're dealing with multiple personalities and traits and everything else. So it says, plus 20% to all fleet losses for 2 sectors. Does that tell me how many sectors we've got left? Will that go to 1? I'm very much hoping. So 2 sectors, but we're almost going to jump anywhere. So what I'll do is... so these 2 ships here are identical in terms of what they give us. No real problem there. We are just low on scrap, aren't we? So I'm going to invest in scrap recycling. I'm going to do it again. That's going to give us 20 scrap. And I'll do it one more time, which takes us half, and then we've now got Drader's contact. So we need to select the civilian defense. We need to select the ships that are going to go in it. So I'll select the Stargazers and the Hyperion. We've just brought the Marsh Argus back up. I believe everybody else is assigned. And we do need to destroy civilian ships with Francisca, Flaubert, and I believe they are assigned. I will double check. Over here and Raptor. There they are. Oh yeah, there you go. Heroes being granted special temporary flight authorization. That's to do with the the opportunity. Right, we'll start the battle. Are you ready for battle? Yes, best we are. Best we're going to be. Oh, interesting. We've got the Beneb system or the Trenali system. The former has a mining rig, supply depot, mineral-rich asteroid, which is both of those, mining rig and the mineral-rich asteroid is going to give us scrap, which we need, and a trader. Or the other one has got nukes, fuel, and an elite Cylon battle. Well, we do need nukes. You can see where we're currently at here, by the way. There's the Battlestar Galactica. So I'm going to go with... I really want to go for some nukes and get nukes. However, the fuel we don't really need. And I definitely need scrap. I'm going to go with the Beneb. And I'm definitely not going to do that elite fight because I've attempted it at least 3 occasions. And I've lost every single one. And I did that when I had nukes. So without them, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Cerberus class frigate, they have every 10 seconds, they get reinforced organs. Unit gains extra hull points, 100 hull points. And all Cylon nukes entering 225 TU range from the capital ship are deactivated. Ah, look at that. That's the area effect. So if they enter that, we can't. The nukes are going to do nothing. That's not particularly a problem, truth be told. Right, let's go. So we're going to get a protector coming in, which is EM deflector field, increases damage resistance. Basically, we're going to be in the sort of tanking area. So we'll send these guys off. So you can see this guy's getting some more health. I don't think it matters because one shot, one kill for those guys. However, we are getting shot there. We did manage to get out of it. We're going to bring these guys a little bit further on. You can see the speed we get here. So let's go ahead and fire. So that's all good. Oh, no, there you go. Look, because of that there, I don't know if you saw. Let's get these guys over here a little bit. I don't know if you saw there. We took a bit of damage. However, where we at for our goal? You can, by the way, haven't actually pointed out. We've only got 2 launch bays and we've only got 2 weapon slots, but you can get more, so you can have more than just, say, I can unload the nukes, unequip the nukes, for example, and pick something else. Not that it matters, but if you've got different weapon systems, you can do all that. So there's our sniper sniping away. And I want to let them do all the damage. There we go. I'm going to send this guy over to that raider. Actually, you know what? The sniper can deal with that. You can deal with that one, because the sniper will rearrange you both. I call them snipers, it's the Raptor. Mechanically, it's the same sort of thing. Well, it is exactly the same sort of thing. So where are they up to now? For our hero. Does it tell me somewhere? I don't know. Oh, 5 of 15. It does tell me somewhere. Excellent. Heavy Raider and a Fixer. Let me guess. Fixer do. Yeah, Fixer heals. What a surprise. Now, Heavy Raider is a little bit naughty. So I'll send our guys over there. I'm hoping that I'll be able to deal with things. Let me send them away. Because I want to do damage there. That guy will deal with the Raider. I'm going to bring this guy back. Oh no, actually we'll head around here. I'm actually going to fire this thing. Oh, they're a lot quicker than I thought. Don't go into the flak field, that's for sure. Don't straight into the flak field. Then we'll deal with this. Sniper. 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 Okay, bring the sniper a little bit closer. How we're doing? 30 seconds till jump. However, they've got raiders and protectors and all sorts of things here. So, level up available. That's good. Ooh. Let's bring these guys away a little bit because there's a lot of ships coming in. So I've taken some damage on this here. And I'm going to need to fire our main gun to there. There we go. So there's our flak field. We are taking a lot of damage. However, if we explode, we gain experience. Which is strange, I know, but it is what it is. I'm going to bring everybody back. Or do I wait? I only need to kill another 4 more to get our objective done. However, there's a lot of ships coming in, so no, I'm not going to do that. I am going to jump. There we go. Hyperion gains some experience, Squadron gains experience for the Raptor, or we gain extra fleet health. Only 20 though. It's a bit poor. I don't know what our overall fleet health is. I'm going to go with that. Why not? And there you go. Alright. Well, I'll finish off the scrap recycling just to get that done. And now we've got another... Oh, we've got another problem here. This is fix malfunctioning systems. 200 hull points lost if we don't fix it. We can either spend... We can tell one of our characters to work it out. Or we can spend 4 supplies. I've got 21. We're going to do that. We're just going to get that out of the way. There you are. And also, look at this. Roaming station. I've not actually done any trading in this game before. Glad to know there's still survivors out there. You recognise the accent? Must be from Tauron. Your XO discreetly points out on the screens. Selling items I've found. Okay. So, you probably have a screen flashing red in all your command center. Do you think it still matters? So they're on the run, I think. Doesn't matter anymore, but why are you doing this? The world's falling apart. Do you really think I would keep fighting for the very last human alive? They're basically making money. What rule of acquisition is it for the Ferengi? Different franchise, but it sort of works out. Now more than ever, we need to stick together. My contracts report that a few groups are still fighting on Caprica. Oh, okay. So they might actually send it back. These resources. Right, okay, what can we get? It's based on scrap and supplies. We can get a Gazelle. Oh, there's a Stealth Star Raven as well. I know what stealth does in the game. Basically, they can't be targeted. Oh, that's an advanced cloaking system. Unit gains 100% damage for 3 seconds when it comes out of stealth. Stealth units can't be targeted. Wow, that's really good. It's 200 scrap though. No way. No way. I can't afford that at all. You can sell stuff as well. So I can actually sell my nuke launcher, but because I've got nothing, it's just an empty tube at this point. So you can buy nukes. There's also different characters as well, which would be really good. I'm just going to say no, we don't need to do that. Okay. Let's level up mills, and that's our CAG. Assignable weapons, no. Assignable squadrons and weapons. All assigned squadron abilities. Area of effect is plus 10 radius. That actually doesn't matter. None of them are really good. I'm going to re-roll it. Oh! Decaying shot when they're on weapons. Assign a gun star, again decaying, which is damage over time. Assignable on squadrons. Assigned squadrons gain ability gain 25% duration. So when we kill stuff with the Raptors, no, with the Vipers, we gain extra speed, so that would be there. Or galvanized. Every time a crisis is resolved, the hero gains 1 energy. They can't go over the max amount. I'm going to pick that. That's brilliant. Okay. So we're gonna come across that anyway. So what I'll do is that was on mills. What I will do then is send them to a mining rig, because that'll mean they get experience and the energy's gone. And it means if we do resolve the crises, job done. We need you on the CIC. At all. Because the underworld is tense, or worse. By the gods. Receiving multiple reports of the underworld, it's not good. They're hiking prices across the fleet, and their agents are slowing production chains. More importantly, their ships are now disrupting our flying corridors. They're creating a blockade. Isn't your job to control the flying corridors? Just send your birds and clear the area. We can't use our squadrons, secure the fleet, and be ready to fight the sounds in the moment's notice. But if we find the resources on wreckages out there, we can work around the underworld and start our own supply chain. Right. Minus 30% to all supply gains. Start scanning the areas for points of interest. So basically we're trying to remove the underworld from the supply chain, or no time, blockade it. Lock 1 squadron for the first 40 seconds of each battle for up to 2 sectors. I have had that before, and it is game ending. It was so bad. And I don't have any nukes, so I've got the base stars main guns, and I've got 2 squadrons. Bring that down to 1 squadron for the first 40 seconds is half the fight almost. I'm going to go with the first one. Good choice, sir. So there's the opportunity. We need to destroy stuff in a fight. There is this other objective. Resolve 2 wreckage or structure points of interest. So we can go here. And I will send... does it matter who I send, actually? I don't think it does. I'm going to send them because they'll level up. So there's 1. And they've leveled up. XO. All heroes gain 25% extra experience every time they resolve a situation or point of interest. Excellent. Or at the 60 mark battle, the Silent Squadron is restored to its maximum hull points. Again, that's on the XO. Having test pilot and timely repairs would be probably massively overpowered on someone that could actually permanently stay in the in the squadrons. I'm going to go with 1 for all. I'm going to try and maybe sort of mix them up a bit. We need another point of interest, but we're not going to get it done here. But I will say obtain some scrap. So we'll do that. We also, however, have a level up. And this is where it can be a little bit convoluted, because you see a level up. We've done level up with the characters. Right, but that's the characters. However, the squadrons also level up. So, on our Raptor, as long as there's no enemy within a 65 TU range, gains 25% range and 10% damage. So, clear shots longer range. Extended cannons increase the unit range while decreasing its primary weapon damage. Minus 20% damage with plus 50 TU range. Oh, that means it can cover a much bigger area. I like that. So the first one, the clear shots, is extra range and damage as long as nothing was in short range of it. The other one, however, is just longer range. I'm going to pick that up. Yes, I think so. Okay, let's go at the bar. Here the workers offer the trade. Pyramid. Play triad with the underworld. Yeah, the underworld I'm really not getting on with. Offer the trade with the workers. Greasy hands, tired eyes, a man in front of you has left his workstation in a hurry. We have a spy deal for you. Want to sell you Tilium in exchange for your supplies. -2 supplies plus 2 Tilium. Not interested. I'm going to say yes. We do want to get some more Tilium, please. Good. Okay, it's no minor thing. Right, where do I want to go from here? I will repair that, and I guess we could do more trade now. We could get the Stealth Star. We could get another hero. The character. Quintus. They would be... Well, I want to see what Rapid Shot is, but I really can't find out because I can't mouse over it. There we go. Assignable weapons. Handgun style weapons gains -20% cooldown, but minus 20% cooldown, but minus 10% damage. We also have Fangsmith. +1 health and is fully healed when receiving trait. And then Levy. Assignable weapons. Oh, gun style weapons is +20% damage. Oh, it's so good. Can we get another 5? Another 5. Supplies. I think we can. 1, 2. And now we have something to deal with. Let's see about this one. Happiness because the worker's influence is good. Commander, got a bit of situation. I had a fight with a worker. They were criticising your authority. Should have stayed calm, but things got heated. Now I'm afraid of other workers coming after me. Okay. Protect you against the workers. Their morale will go up, however, the workers will deteriorate. I won't help. I won't directly go against the workers. Workers will increase influence, however, their morale will go down. This is where you might have a bit of a hard time picking, based on what is mechanically, at this time, the best option, or what morally you think is the correct thing to do, and the split between them, if there's a break in that. I mean, they got into a fight. You know, they said it's their fault. Fair enough. So I could just say, look, it's your problem. Which is this one. But that'll make their morale go down. And I actually don't know what their morale is. Again, that would be nice to know now what their morale is. I can see what the... Can I check from here? No, I can't. It's just very little minor things like that. It would be nice to be able to know what their morale is now. I'm going to say I'm going to protect them because basically we've got good influence. That's wonderful. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. Invest in crop harvest and then do it once more will get us to 36 supplies. However, that also means I can hire Levy. Welcome aboard. There they are. Ashrak Levy. Colony of Canceron. You are now going to be assigned to weapons because Vicious Shooter, 20% damage. If
Mm-hmm.
I had some nukes, it would actually be pretty good, wouldn't it? R&D lab. Anything I can pick up? If I had 276 scrap, I could get a third squadron. That's maximum Gunstar and squadron hull points. I think I will get that for the squadron one. Critical systems insulation. -1 critical effect threshold on the Gunstar and plus 33% repaired hull points. Don't need it. We don't need the latter anywhere. The threshold's good though. I think we're doing alright for all of that. Let's start the battle. I think everything is pretty much sorted. Let's go. Oh. We have Gatrix, which I can't read the top bit because it's off the screen. However, it is a crisis objective. Well, there's a couple of them because it's wreckages and stuff. Or Selbaran, a temple ruin. A temple ruin is long-term. The long-term roguelike, like resource. Fate. If we go here, got fuel, distress beacon, mining rigs. We've got more options if we go to Gatrix as opposed to here. However, there is a drifting escape pod and a severed ship bridge. I'll go there because we'll get another character. We have a Hydra class frigate, the Sentinel. So once again, get our ships out. Destroy another 4 ships for our main goal for Florbit. Mutation prepared shot. Mutation, sorry, prepared shot. Every 10 seconds, we have prepared shot. 100% damage, but suffers 50% ability cooldowns. And automated weapon systems firing at a single enemy squadron within the range of it gain 20% DPS. Automated weapon firing at a single enemy squadron within 150 CU range of the capital ship for 20 DPS. Ah, don't stray within the boundary of this is what it's telling us. Understood. Oh, right. So things are a bit close in. Let me see if I can deal with this then, because well, everything's just going to jump on top of us. So I'll do what I can. So we are going to take some damage now, and that's why it's paused. It's paused because our Gunstar, for the first time, has actually taken some damage. All right, and now we've got a Tempest coming in. All manner of ships turning up here. Oh, so we'll do what we can here. Come on, and a missile. So that's actually not something we've seen, but it is actually, strangely, it's actually quite common. There. So the enemy will fire missiles and nukes and stuff at you. So that's a nuke coming in. I am getting our flak field to deal with it, which is exactly what happened there. Let me get the ships over here. I think I've actually completed that personal goal now, which is good. So let's see what I can do. I think that sniper will deal with that one. There's another nuke inbound. I'm going to send our... Doesn't matter. I was going to say the snipers just dealt with that straight away. These guys are coming in. They're a bit more longer ranged. So we have taken some damage. First time in, well, this run so far. Let's bring this guy actually not to there. Then we want to fire... there, which is just outside of our flak range. Our area. I am taking damage here. And there's another nuke coming in. Always prioritize the nuke, naturally. And there's another missile coming in, which is going to hit our civilian ship. Those are horrible, those ships. I haven't really mentioned about that, actually. Like, that there's a huge variety of enemies in the game, and with the mutators and everything else, you do get, I say, a lot of variety in the type of enemies you'll fight against. There's a nuke coming in. There's all manner of things coming in. That missile I'm going to have to just eat. There's 2 nukes coming in. However, if I fire there, I'll get both nukes. And truth be told, I think I can just run away. Right. Oh, I've accidentally unassigned things. That's not what I meant to do at all. FTL is ready. So I can jump. You can jump early. Oh, that ship's getting hit. We've taken a bit of damage here. You can jump with the squadron still deployed. You can do that, but they basically become wrecked. So, choose one blessing here. Critical effects of this danger in battle is resolved without cost. That's in the Hyperion. So the Hyperion has went through this trigger point for the crisis, for the critical hit. I'm going to go with heroic crew because I don't want to be having to deal with that when I come back to here. However, there will be an opportunity now. So opportunity seized. The workers are working on recycling Cylon ships I took down. Excellent news. We could certainly use the scrap. So that gives us, I believe, was it 100 scrap? It was. So we've still got this crisis to do, so we can, yeah, resolve a wreckage for the toll. However, we're probably best on, for a start, repairing the ship a few times, actually. There we go. Yeah, let's get that to max. Okay. So we've repaired that. We've got some level ups. We've got a couple of points of interest. Yeah, we've got plenty to do there on the level up for our one of our ships. It'll be the Vipers probably. It is. Activatable ability, ejectable countermeasures. Unit gains damage resistances for the effect. Or passive once per battle. When unit is destroyed, it restored at full HP, but with a permanent loss of minus 10 hull points. Max hull can't go below 50%. That's really good, but I don't like the permanent minus. Let's go with ejectable countermeasures. Okay. So yeah, we have jumped 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, yeah, 4 places. You can see we are here. So that's a. I think it's a noteworthy fight, and then you've got a couple more, and then you've got Galactica. But we will leave it there for now. That has been a bit of Battlestar Galactica, Scattered Hopes, or Shattered Hopes, as I may have called it. Yeah. In summary, any fans of Battlestar Galactica are probably going to absolutely adore this thing. They really are. And this is only a small slice of the game. Like I said, there's 4 different fleets to pick from when you start. There's loads of different unlocks as you play through. So as you play through, you gain different levels, like let's say the roguelike element. So you'll unlock various parts and ships and components and different crew members and stuff. So you know, there's more to pick from. I think you can put together your own fleet based on the mode that you play. Naturally, loads of points of interest, more stories, crises, etc. For those not in the sort of not invested in sort of Battlestar Galactica or its universe, I would encourage you to do so for a start, especially with the, like, you know, if you're going to start anyway, just go with a miniseries. You can't go far wrong. Not just a great sci-fi show, just one of the best TVs you're going to get. End of sentence. So, yeah. But is there enough here to satisfy, like, say, non-fans? I think so. I really do. There's a lot to like, and it's telling that there's only a few things that I've mentioned throughout this entire video where I've went, maybe if this was a little tweaked here and there. It's only little minor things. I can see people, however, maybe not gelling with the combat so much. It really depends on whether you like the, you know, the real-time pausable thing. Some people like turn-based action point systems, so, you know, you've got like 6 seconds of fight and then it sort of pauses and do it that way. But, you know, your mileage is going to vary on this one. Either way, I've very much enjoyed what I've played, and, well, links in the description if you want to check it out yourself. For the sake of full disclosure, I've played about 3 or 4 hours maybe, probably more if we count for various builds of the game, and I'm recording this. Actually, I think it's about an hour before release, but it will be out by the time this video is released, so it's fairly representative of what is available, I believe. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any tips, comments, suggestions, we'd love to hear them. If you want to see more, let me know as well. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.